Welcome to Learning Life Skills Together. This is our weekly community Zoom meeting where our guests help us to go deeper into the 4 life skills and open up a huge array of chances to practice them. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Learning Life Skills Together weekly Zoom meeting number 67. And I'm here today with Danielle Stokes from Youth Services at the Chester County Library. And we'll talk with Danielle in a minute, but first, as always, we'll begin with a practice. So we'll pull ourselves together. And if you'd like, you could close your eyes to do this practice. If you're not in a place or you don't feel like closing your eyes, that's fine too. And I'd invite you to bring your attention into your body right now so that we come into this moment where we're together, when we're noticing how we feel, how our body feels. Maybe something as simple as our feet on the floor or our buttocks on the chair. When we feel our senses, we're in the present. We're right here and right now, because we can't feel our bodies in the future or in the past. So just maybe noticing how you feel right now, noticing what it's like to be sitting or standing, lying down, however you've chosen to be. And so, as you tune into that, maybe you notice what's happening in your mind. Maybe the thoughts are moving around fast. Maybe it's kind of hard to find a thought. Could be anywhere in between there. Just notice what it's like for you right now. And maybe you even notice if there's an emotion that's here. Are you meeting this moment with an emotion? And you might even think if that emotion has a name, what you would name it. And so you could just now be here with how you feel, with what it's like in your body, in your mind, and in your emotions. There's no need to change anything. We're just, here we are. And if your eyes have been closed, you could open them and look at your screen, look around you, and here we are. So I am with right now Danielle. And so, Danielle, how is it for you right now? What did you find as we did that?
Pretty good. Feels calming. It's been a busy day here at the library, so it was very nice to kind of come back into this moment of calm and not feeling hurried or rushed.
Yeah, yeah. And so you're right that it can be pretty rare during our days. So it's good to realize that it doesn't take very long to pull that off. Yeah, just a couple minutes, and here we are. Okay. So thank you for joining us again. I mean, you talked with us, I'm pretty sure it was in the fall. And so moving in towards the holidays, and here we are in the spring holidays now. Yeah. And so you have a different perspective maybe on the world in the spring than you do in the fall. And we have a different perspective because we've been moving through our modules, our lessons in learning life skills together. And back when we spoke with you, I think we were talking about paying attention and starting to work with our emotions in the moment. You know, what can I do to help myself settle down right now? And now, in our sort of progress through, we're at the point where we're talking about how do I get through times that are tough? So it's like, yeah, I know how to work with myself right now in this moment. But when this moment is not the way I'd like it, and it's going on and on and on, day after day. I need some different strategies. And one of the really big ones for us is to say, yes, we have to keep working with what our uncomfortable spot is. And at the same time, we can't do that all the time. We need a break. And we need a break that sort of helps to restore us. And so, one of the things that restores people, and we just sort of know this from books and other things, is being in touch with and being involved in the things that we really care about, the things that are our passions. And so, I really want to talk about the library as a place where we can find our passions, we can discover them, and we can continuously learn about them. I mean, across your life, you start out as a toddler in the library and you end up being a gray-haired man in the library, and nothing's really changed all that much because there's still so much that's available and so much to explore.
Absolutely. Uh, yes, lifelong learning is part of our mission. It's part of our strategic plan and how we try to connect with our community. And so that's what we're here for. We're here to help people explore all of their various interests. And so our youngest are coming in and exploring through play. So we have our open play where we have various play items that children can play with, whether it's puzzles or interconnecting plastic blocks, or our play kitchens are always very popular with our preschool age children, and children starting at birth come in and explore through play by connecting with the books. There are books that are for children, very young children, that are tactile. And so they're helping them explore through their senses. And so they're building on that kind of, what is my life like when you're an infant? Sometimes it's very singular, very focused on being awake, being hungry, am I wet?
Mm.
But then as they kind of grow and develop a little bit more, their world starts to expand to what else can they see around them. And so here at the library, we kind of help uh, both the child and their caretakers expand on those new ability to maybe crawl and walk and touch things, and it helps them explore through their senses and develop and expand their world more. And so, as the kids start to kind of age into school and starting school, and maybe they're learning about uh, the print, right? Print words, that those
Mm.
squiggly lines are actually mean something, right? Because until someone tells you an A is just another funny looking triangle, right? And
Right.
so
Yeah.
as they're growing into that, we're helping them explore what that print looks like. And we have new materials in called decodable books that are there to help parents and young people decode language, right? So based on
Oh,
phonics and phonetics and all of the skills around that. And they're sets that come together with instructions for adults so that nobody has to be intimidated by it. If maybe as an
ah,
adult learner, you're unsure of how to guide your child. There are
right.
these,
Okay. So the parent can come in, read up, and
yes.
then use those books with the child.
Yeah, with their child.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
help them explore. Some of those books are maybe helping them explore their world and make sense of the things they see around them because the topics on them are things like spring, what's going on in springtime, the growth that they see outside, maybe with the flowers or the birds coming back. Sometimes it's simple as these are things with wheels, you know. This
Hmm.
is these
Yeah.
are things that I might see if I'm outside walking around my neighborhood, cars and bikes and motorcycles and all those various things with wheels. And so exploring those types of things and continuing to learn. In the library, we have our citizen science kits, which are great for families of all ages, but especially our school age families. Last month, or maybe still this month, is Citizen Science Month. And so what that is it allows our community members to help scientists, real scientists, gather data. So there's a one based on bird counts. So especially at this
Hmm.
time of year, it's a really important one because all the birds
Yeah.
are burning and you hear the migration, and this kit will help you learn how to distinguish between different bird calls. It has binoculars in it that help you visualize, and you borrow it and you utilize it, and then send that information to maybe Cornell University, where they have an extensive project on bird migration and bird sightings, and they have a whole lab based around ornithology. So, but your average kid, 5 year old, your 10 year old, a family of 36 year olds and maybe 50s and 60s and whoever, it can be multi generational. So it's not just the
Yeah.
youth that are learning and growing with these kids. It can definitely be a whole family or community that can share this project together.
Yeah, and really seriously doing science, adding to the
Yes.
data that Cornell University is using. I mean, that's
Yes.
really
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the real scientists. That's what I tell them when they come in and they ask about these things. You are doing real science work. This is not just fun. I mean, hopefully you're having fun while doing it sometimes, but you're actually helping with scientists complete their studies that they need. Lots of times they need lots of information, and this is allowing your average person to come in and be a part of that community, something that they maybe never thought they could be.
yeah, yeah, and sort of there's another side to that that particular one of looking at birds that is just the beauty of the birds and just the being out
Yes,
in nature and doing that, which is a sort of another facet of learning life skills together that we promote. So you can be doing your science as well as your awe and beauty. They
absolutely.
go together. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love,
that connecting with
love that.
nature and being outside and being
Yeah.
active, a part of nature. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Terrific. So we have these science kits. What
Hmm.
is there something that's sort of structured like that for kind of the art side of things, the or the at least the literature side of things, the story side of things?
There are. We have, of course, our weekly story times that we have throughout the whole year. Each day of the week, we have a story time that is age appropriate. So we try to make them developmentally appropriate. So they start at birth. We will read to babies. And then we have things that go all the way up to 5 and 6 year olds. So there's a 1 year old story time, a 2 year old story time, 3 year olds, fours and fives, and then our 5 and 6 year olds. And those happen weekly.
Is that across the week? I mean, is it like
Yes.
Monday is the little ones and
Yes, it's spread throughout the week. Yeah, each day there's a different age. Tomorrow on Thursdays is usually when our 1 year olds have their story time in the mornings, and our babies have their story time or birth. Our Razor Reader group, that's what they are. And
the razor reader. I like,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, so they gather
Okay.
together with one of our librarians, Miss Shannon, and she reads some stories and then does rhymes and talks literacy and literacy skills with them. And then also just how do babies interact with books, as I kind of touched on earlier. Um, we build those skills around reading and literacy in infants different than maybe you would think of because they're very tactile, right? They're very sensory
Yeah.
focused at that age. And that's what we want to see. We want to see them touching the books. That's why there are special cardboard and strong books that babies can touch and mouth and do all the tactile things that they want that won't damage them. And we want them to explore
Yeah.
and enjoy them. And lots of parents, especially new parents, maybe are anxious about that or unsure about that. And so we talk about what that looks like with young children, what reading looks like and literacy looks like with really young children, because it might be different than what you're thinking of, maybe with a 5 or 6 year old or even a 10-year old.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. So we have sort of reading groups, as it
Yep.
were, for the young ones. What happens as they get older? What how do you sort of work with teens and sort of the those approaching the teen years, I guess, because you're not going up that far.
Well, we have it. Yeah. Once we get into
Yeah.
school age, we have book clubs. So we have our book club that happens once a month where they focus on reading a book together and then doing activities connected to the plot or theme of the book and having some discussion. It's meant to be just a casual way for them to connect with their peers and then also maybe explore books that they wouldn't have picked up on their own, and it's usually super fun. Miss Julie, who runs that program, has done escape rooms with them. They've done in
Oh,
connection to the story that they were reading. They've done some kind of sometimes cooking in connection to the story that they were reading, or puzzle making in connection to the story that they.
yeah, yeah,
So it touches on multiple aspects, and so it's not just the literacy part where they're reading, sharing the story together, but then connecting it to other areas of interest or other things that might that if you're exploring a book, maybe for the first time you've heard about something, a topic or a an interest that you've never heard of before, or suddenly you're interested in. Maybe you didn't think that you would like to garden, but you read this book about a kid that started their own community garden, maybe, and you're just wowed by that and inspired to get your own garden started. So then we might do a seed planting activity with them.
yeah.
So that's one of the things that we actually have coming up with our community reads with Longwood Gardens. And so Longwood Gardens each year releases a title, selects a title, one aimed for children, one aimed at adults and other learners. And
Oh,
um, we partner with them every year. And this year's community read is about the extraordinary gardener. And it's a young boy who kind of accidentally starts a community garden in his neighborhood because he keeps watering this seed that he finds, and he doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know what it's going to be. And then everybody else kind of gets in the community, gets invested in what is happening. And so
mm.
we'll be sharing that story next week at our family story time, which we have in the evenings to try and meet those reading and community needs of our families that maybe have full-time jobs and can't make it during the day, to those multi-age programs. And so every Tuesday evening. We have family story time. It's for multi-generational, all ages, and we try to do a variety of activities and things with that. So we'll have a
Hmm.
little extra activity for that.
Yeah.
Um, and so we were talking about school age. So they're shifting into school age. We also have our Remake Learning Days, which is a STEM focus day. So science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. That's that acronym STEM. And so we will have each day in May, starting the week of the 12th, where we'll focus on one of those STEM topics. So Monday will be science, then Tuesday's technology, then engineering, then arts and math. And school age kids can come in for an hour and learn about that topic and usually do some kind of activity connected to it. I have traditionally done the arts and math day when we do that week. And in the
Hmm.
past, we've done pixels where we've created a picture using post-it notes and talked about how pixels create those images that we see on our screens, trying to
Right.
get them to
Wow.
think about it. And so it's usually a really fun activity for them, and they've always enjoyed doing that. So
Yeah. It sounds like it has to be a big picture.
it is. So we've made giant Lego men. So the traditional yellow-headed Lego guy.
Right, right.
We've done a house. So with usually we split them into teams. So one team would do a house with a blue roof, and one team would do a house with a green roof. And they work collaboratively on these projects because they're very
Yeah.
big. We put them up on our wall, or one year we put them up on our windows in the children's room so that then they were there for a while, and as people walk by, they could see them. And so that was really nice because it was almost like a community art project, and because people got to observe and kind of interact and engage with it. So they're,
Yeah.
they've been really fun, and the kids really like them. It also helps them with some computational thinking skills because they have to think about the different steps that they need to go through and then also get rid of some of the things that they don't need. Sometimes they want to jump in and then they're getting ahead of themselves, but then they have to pull back and think about, wait, no,
Hmm.
maybe we do want to start from the bottom or instead of starting from the top, and figuring out whether to
Yeah.
start the top of that picture or from the bottom of the picture is the better way to work on it.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our school age kids, and then this summer, actually, our theme is Color My World. That's our summer reading theme. And so we're hitting into preparing for that and setting up for that. So we'll have a community paint night in May where people can come in. And this is again an intergenerational activity. So it's not just for one age, but for all ages,
Wow.
including,
Okay.
and they'll be able to decorate miniature canvases that will then go up on display for our tiny art show, which will be up then for the month of June. So it'll tie in with our summer reading theme. It'll hopefully get members of our community who love art or maybe have always wanted to try something and the opportunity to explore, because you don't need to be a wonderful artist or already think of yourself as an artist. You just have to be willing to come in and give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah. So as I'm listening to all these things, I'm thinking about that, how do I find my passion? And the teen group sounds like, we come in and we do something that about from this book that we're reading, or about this book that we're reading, or the theme that I probably would not have thought of myself, or maybe that's not even like something that anybody that I know would do, and suddenly there it is for me. And it might be that thing that suddenly I go like, oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I
Yeah.
want to dive into that. I want to do more of that. Yeah. So that's really what we're after. And I love all the things with the that are for the whole family, as well, because that's when we really start to exchange those ideas too. The stuff comes out that I just realized that, I really like this, or wow, I haven't thought about this in a really long time, says the parent. And
Yes.
and it's brand new to the kid, and off we go, to learn and to push things along. Your ornithology thing also reminded me that we just did a bird watching event in Downingtown, and with parents and kids, and this whole idea. This is just the start. Just there's a bird that I've never seen before, and off I go, into why are they just coming through here, and where do they end up? Oh,
Yes.
here's this warbler. Where did it come from, and where is it going? And what's it like there?
Right. Opening the
Yeah,
way to
it's
explore
just
more. Yes.
more and more and more stuff to
Absolutely.
to look at. And you know, to get back to the sort of mental health aspect of learning life skills together, this opening the world up and opening things up is really a huge skill for getting through tough times, because we tend to close down around our problem and close down around ourselves and what we're feeling. And all these that we're talking about are opportunities to open up and to see that the world is bigger than just me and what's happening right now. That's not going to be happening in a week or a month or whatever it happens to be. That there's so much more space, and that I can go and visit that space to
Oh, yeah.
get my break.
Yeah, the space here at the library, I like to say there's always something happening, even if you didn't know it was happening. We have our puzzle, or our community puzzle, is always out, and near our reference desk, we have set up now. Probably we've been doing this for maybe at least a year. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's been at least a year that we've had that set up, and uh, I, I I gotta say that there's probably never a time that I don't walk by and see someone working on it. So the community
Mm.
puzzle is there for everyone to come in and maybe spend a few minutes just finding that perfect spot, that perfect puzzle piece you noticed where it belonged. And then we have some of our dedicated puzzlers that, really want to take a break, and dive
Mm-hmm.
in and really put their effort into it. And then we have our super, super casual puzzlers who are there and they peer over, they see what it is, they maybe decide, oh no, that one's too challenging for me, but maybe then they go and borrow a simpler puzzle because we love them.
Ah.
So we have puzzles that you can borrow and you can say, oh, that one looks too complicated, or, oh, I don't really like flower puzzles, but I would love one that had buildings, and they go and they explore the puzzles that we have for them to borrow. And so it's a great way to maybe tap into something that you didn't remember that you enjoyed, or didn't recognize was something that was soothing to you. So
Yeah.
when we have people here who are taking a break, I've seen several puzzlers who are here either for studying, and they're here doing college courses or something, and they need a study break, and they go and they sit and do the puzzle because it helps them to kind of de-stress, but not get overwhelmed by other input, by maybe media or social media, and get overwhelmed by what's on the news, or any of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
don't get pulled too far away from their work, and they stay in a state that allows them to then just plug back into what they were doing previously.
I think that's one of the real beauties about having passion or an interest that's driving you at the moment is that it's yours and you own it. You're not at the mercy of what gets posted on your the social media, or what happens to appear on the screen in some other way. It's like your choice.
Yes,
And that's
absolutely.
another thing that the library is all about, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Come on in and check it out. There's so many things I know you were seeing about the passion. And for me, one of the things that tends to always happen when I read something is I immediately get intrigued about that world of that story. And so maybe it's the food. I love food, so
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
reading a book that talks about food. Maybe it's from a specific culture, or maybe it's just bread. There's a person in there that's always having bread or making bread or something, and then I find myself really interested in that topic and wanting to try it out and say, oh gosh, maybe I can make bread. This person made it sound like such a wonderful activity or such a good
Yeah.
way to spend their time. And so I know that when I read that I enjoy picking up new things from the world of the characters that I'm interested in, or if I'm reading for information, sometimes it's helping me expand a knowledge that I didn't have or wasn't aware of. So learning about other cultures or other places or times that I thought I knew about this time period, and suddenly here's this new piece of information that's helping me grow my understanding of it.
Yeah, there's so much sort of you're like a bumblebee trying to, you're focused on your book, and at the same time you're seeing all the stuff around what you're looking at
Yeah.
too. You got those big eyes because of what the author is bringing you.
Yeah.
I have had so many experiences of reading a novel and as you were saying, being drawn into the food, or being drawn into this person is a painter or an art critic or something. And the next thing I know, I'm looking up that person's paintings, and, and off I go. It's really, really wonderful. And it's that thing again where you're in control. You're pursuing what you want to pursue, and you're not scrolling. I,
Yeah.
I guess.
Active, active engagement. Yes.
Yeah,
Active
yeah,
engagement. Yeah,
yeah. It's so different, those two things.
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one is more calming than the other, shall we say. Yeah.
I think one is definitely more rewarding, if nothing
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
One gives you a much more rewarding, fulfilling experience.
Yeah. And a sense of who you are, a sense of yourself that
Yeah.
maybe you wouldn't have. Yeah. Well, this has been a wonderful conversation, Danielle. It's what I was hoping we would get at for people so that they can take the spring holidays here and visit the library, and maybe now be thinking, I wonder what's going on in there right now that might open me up to something else.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always something. And if you don't find something, come and ask us. We're a friendly bunch at the library. We love to talk to you and share with you and help you find what you're looking for, or maybe weren't sure you were looking for.
And maybe you weren't sure what you were looking for, and you might find it.
That's true.
I think that's a perfect note to end on here. So thank you so much, Danielle, for talking with us. I really appreciate it. And
Thank you.
bye bye.
I've enjoyed being there. Bye.